Greetings, this is Genshin-kun, and we are back for more Chaos Head. Sorry for the little wait, but things are coming up, and some big surprises are going to start soon. Anyway, let's get to the visual novel, shall we? I saw you from way back there, I thought it might be you, and so I ran to catch up. That's what she said. Could this possibly mean that she hadn't given up yet? She still had expectations for me? Oops. Oop. Good morning to you too. Ohio to you.
やっと言えました。土日を含めて4日もかかってしまいましたけど。
She's very patient.
あ、先週メールを送ったんですけど、読んでもらってます。
Without meaning to, I nodded reflexively.
よかった。返事がなかったからてっきり届いていないかと思って何度か送り直そうとしたんですけど、我慢しておいて正解でした。
What on earth did Yua expect from me? Should I fall in love with you? Should become your boyfriend? I think that should have been said. Should I become your boyfriend? And should we live in our lovey-dovey lives as a couple? No way. I couldn't act so wholesome. I wanted to, but it would never happen. Besides, I didn't understand how Yua had come to think so well of me. I couldn't have faith in her. That's what made it impossible.
西条くん、どうしたんですか？ずっと立ち止まってるので。
I hastily walked off, leaving Yua behind, but she caught up by trotting.
昨日、西条くんのクラスに行ったんですけど、いませんでしたよね。もしかして風邪でもひいて休んでるんじゃないかと思って心配だったんです。
She's acting way too sweet and kinda creepy now.
でも元気そうでよかった。
たまにしか。
はい。
僕たまにしかがみんなから引きこもりって思われてる。
Surely I disillusioned her. Surely knowing that what I was really like, she had lost all friendly thoughts toward me. I didn't mind because I hadn't expected anything from the start. Go on, think of me as being creepy and gross, and from now on, please stay away from me.
そうですか。でも今日は会えてよかったです。
You're too nice. I was floored. Without thinking, I scrutinized Yua's smile intently. Our eyes met, and I was forced to hastily turn my face away. Why is it that I don't weird you out?
っていうか、たまにでも学校に来てるなら、西条くんも引きこもりじゃないと思います。
Yeah, because isn't the definition of a hikikomori never going outside, only for food and stuff? And normally hikikomoris have someone doing that for them.
すいません。分かったようなこと言っちゃって。
でも苦痛だよ。
だとしたら偉いです。
I couldn't have so much as imagined that she would reply with such words. What could possibly be admirable about a useless human being like me? Yua smiled tenderly. I honestly thought it was a smile that could heal people.
西条くんは辛いのに頑張って学校に来ていますから。普通なら普通は来られないですよ。
でも僕はオタだし重いし。
私、西条くんの話を聞くの好きですよ。
What on earth was it? This affirmation of my whole being. Why did it feel so comforting? I had the feeling that Yua would be able to embrace everything about me. I had the feeling that Yua would tell me it was alright to be here. If I were with Yua, I might be able to go back to being a regular person.
大変予例ですよ。
Without my noticing it, our surroundings had become empty of students. Everyone was already inside the school building.
それじゃあ私失礼します。あ、今日の放課後 時間ありますか？
Put on my feet.
もしよかったらその一緒に帰りましょう。
She murmured shyly, blushing a bit.
放課後中庭で待ってます。もし気が向いたら来てください。あ、無理に来なくても全然平気ですから。失礼します。
Yua gave me a courteous bow and ran off toward the building where the seniors' classrooms were located. Watching her go, I pinched my cheek again. It really wasn't a dream or a delusion. It's reality! I stayed in a daze during all my classes that day. Or rather, I didn't pay the least attention to what was going on in my classes. Propping my chin up with one hand, I gazed on and on at the autumn sky beyond the window. Neither my classmates nor my teachers took any heed of me. But Yua looked at me. Yua was different from the rest of those assholes. As I went on thinking along those lines and having all sorts of daydreams, classes suddenly came to the end.
Yo, Taku. 今日もデートか？この前のメガネのことはうまくいってるんだろうな。おいおい、ニートだからって躊躇してんなよ。向こうがお前のこと気に入ってくれてんなら、付き合うか付き合わないかはともかくやっちまうのが礼儀。
そんなことしないよ。
おい、なんだよいきなり大声出して。
ユアとはそんなことしない。
は？お前まだ言ってんの？なんで最初から諦めるんだよ。そろそろ引きこもりから卒業しようぜ。
僕は引きこもりじゃない。
You shouldn't have said that kind of thing in the first place. I didn't understand Masami-kun, who lived through his nether regions. Masami-kun looked puzzled, but I ignored him and hurried out the classroom. The shortest route to the courtyard involved crossing the corridor to the building where the seniors' classes were held. Then going down the stairs from there. Probably since I didn't come to school much, I wasn't very knowledgeable about which parts of the school building were connected to where. I wasn't sure of where all the specialized classrooms were either. So I felt a little tad insecure as I went down the corridor. Who are you? A lone girl stood in the dead center of the passageway, looking out at the sky. She had a terribly severe look on her face. Despite that she was doing, she didn't have anything like a fading, waning atmosphere to her, though she was clearly getting in my way of whoever might try to pass, and she didn't budge an inch. She must have heard my footsteps. I'm in a hurry. Please move out of the way. Something about her gave off the smells of those delinquent types. I better be careful to stay as far away from her as possible and to avoid meeting her eyes. Excuse me. With that in my mind, I slowly tried to skirt around behind Girl B. Shit, she was calling me. Was she trying to squeeze some money out of me, or she didn't like the way I looked, drag me off a delinquent hangout, and have me lynched there? Give me a goddamn break. I haven't done anything wrong. That's a nice face, huh? When I cautiously surveyed Girl B, she glared at me. Even if she asked me who, I'm Nishijo Takumi. Not that she had any way of knowing my name, of course, given that we never met before. She was planning on doing something horrible to me, no doubt about it. Bowing my head so as to avoid looking at Girl B, I sprinted off top speed. That was odd. Once I dashed down the stairs from the seniors building and leapt outside to check behind my back, seemed like the scary-looking girl from before hadn't come chasing after me. Thank God, I hated that third dimension for having traps at every turn. I look around the courtyard as I collected my wild breathing. Sandwiched between the pool and the school building, it was so long and narrow that it might have been more fitting to call it a pathway. There were flower beds at regular intervals, and right now the purple flowers particularly stood out. What were those flowers called? I didn't really know. Excuse me. Spotty was standing in front of one of the flower beds, gazing idly at the flowers. She looked sad. She was really there. She waited for me. She waited for me, and none other. Yua wouldn't betray me. It might be alright for me to believe in her. Yua might be able to save me. Raising her face, Yua noticed I was there. As I watched her eyes grow wider and wider, embarrassed, I shifted my gaze and stood in place. I didn't know whether it was okay for me to walk up to her. Why was she surprised? Maybe I shouldn't have come. As I wavered, Yua came running to me. Hand
びっ
thing!
くりしました。
Do the hand thing! Do that hand thing! That startled me. Eh?
西条くんが本当に来てくれるなんて、どうせ来てもらえないって諦めかけてたんです。でも待っててよかった。
Maybe you actually tended to think along much the same lines as I did, viewing everything pessimistically and so on. But one thing about us was radically different. I viewed things negatively but did nothing about it. You viewed things negatively but took action of her own accord. I always respected her for her ability to be proactive. I wanted to be more like her. That's a good attitude, dude.
一緒に帰ってくれますか？
I answered her hesitant question with a nod. Side by side, you and I headed to the main gate. Somehow, it was kind of embarrassing. I also started to have the feeling that other students leaving school were watching us enviously. The more conscious I became of it, the jerkier I got. Going on home with a girl, just the two of us, was impossible after all. Huh? Ooh, what? That's a unfamiliar teacher, although I only assumed he was a teacher because he was wearing a suit instead of uniform. Was there really such a young teacher around here? Since I rarely come to school, I had no memory of teachers' faces. There were even times where I'd forgotten what my homeroom teacher looked like. All these random faces popping up now. Jeez. Glancing around all the while, the suit-clad teacher went toward the school building.
どうしました？
Flustered, I shook my head and resumed walking at Yua's side. Though we said we would go home together, my base was only 10 minutes from school. Shinsen Station, which Yua used, was further away. As a result, it ended up being more like me seeing her off. Out of habit, I entered Shadow Park. We could take a shortcut by cutting through here diagonally, though. It would only save us a minute or so.
西条くんって朝よくこの公園でパンを食べてませんか？
How did she
や
know?
っぱりよく見かけたんです。
Stalker.
いる時といない時があって、今日ようやくその謎が解けました。学校にたまにしか来ないからだったんですね。あ、別にそれがダメって言ってるわけじゃなくてですね。
Sure.
素朴な疑問だったので。
Oof, there we go. Now I can lean back. Yua suddenly stopped and looked over at the bench where I usually sat to have breakfast. It was currently empty.
なんだかここに座っているあなたの背中がすごく辛そうに見えて。
Leaning forward, Yua sent the tips of her fingers gliding along the bench's
何回も
backrest.
見かけるうちにだんだん気になってきて。
I think I'm starting to remember something about her character. I know one big thing, but I think I remember the other aspect besides her being a stalker. I think we're about to find that out. This bench was set right in front of the fence around the pond. Moreover, because sitting in it meant facing the bank of the pond, I didn't have to tremble in fear of anyone's gaze. The reason I'd taken a liking to it was because watermelon nearby acted as a form of cover, keeping me from standing out.
最近は姿を見かけなかった日は心配でご飯の喉を通らなかったりしてたんです。
Was that so? I had no idea she was watching me.
ラカみたいですよね。一度も話したことのない
Nightmare or
人に心配して
daydream?
るなんて。
I'm halfway tempted to pick the nightmare because those tend to be awesome.
でも話しかける勇気もなかったので。
Take that to its obvious conclusion and you end up with her initial stalker-esque behavior. She is. Maybe it would be more accurate to say that rather than stalking me, she had been worrying about me and watching over me.
ちょっと
And
座ってみてもいいですか？西条くんがどんな景色を見ていたのか。私も知りたいから。
I had no particular reason to say no. Facing on the pond, I nodded. Sitting her bag on top of the bench, Yua gently sat down. She turned her back and gazed out to the pond. Very quietly and very serenely, Yua was close beside me. A tender breeze stirred her hair and made ripples on the pond. this what it meant to be really live? Though it was such normal casual scenery and we were in such a casual situation, why did it seem as if it would, if tears would start flowing out of me at any
ここ
moment?
で朝食をとるのって気持ちよさそうですよね。
You'll remember I took a peek at the side of her face. In Naruge, this would undoubtedly be the right time to confess to her. After being bound together, the two of us would kiss, reach our good end, depending on the circumstances. We also might end up going straight to some exhibitionism.
私も今度やってみようかな。
You had turned her head and looked at me, unable to say anything. I dropped my gaze to her bag. I looked at it. There were 3 Garo Froggy straps attached to her bag. I cursed myself for being so pathetic that I couldn't so much as meet a girl's gaze. Oh. We'll just pick Daydream. For once. Wait a second. Just now something at the edge of my sight had nagged at me. What had I spied just now? What are you seeing, dude? Garo Froggy, the mascot character that was all the rage among high school girls. I'd seen somewhere before. Where? Oh, hello, sis. Oh, that's right. Nani had used one of her cell phone straps that all there was to it. Right. What kind of weird thoughts were going through my head? I got all suspicious. How stupid. Besides, Nami had said that Garo Froggies were a big fad among high school girls. So there were absolutely nothing strange about you possessing some. Yeah, that's right. That's how it was. Honestly, there were some times when it sucked to be so overly imaginative. No point in getting cowed by my own delusions. Ha ha ha.
西条くん？
Still gazing up at me, you would tilt her head. I hastily gave her a friendly smile.
それ本当に流行ってるんだなって。ゲロカエルン。
Eh? What was with that reaction? Why was your expression become so strained? Did I say something bad just now? All I did was bring up the character called Garo Froggy, yet why? Who had up until worn a soft smile was now facing downward and made no effort to look at me. I couldn't tell what kind of expression she was making. My bad premonition wouldn't go away. The deja vu I sensed the instant I saw the 3 Garo Froggies dangling from her bag. I had definitely seen those before. I'd seen 3 Garo Froggies in a row somewhere before, and you became frightened when I pointed them out to her. Mistrust raised its head to me, surging out to control my heart. Should I trust you or not?
ゲロカエルン、西条くんも知ってるんですね。
I should have picked Nightmare. Oh well. Her voice was clearly getting
本
shrill.
当に大人気ですよね。私もあんまり可愛いとは思わなかったりするんですけど、何人かの友達からもらっちゃって、気がついたら3つになってまして。
The more you spoke, the more unnatural she started to sound. She didn't look at me. She didn't look at me and try to smile, though she had spoken to me so kindly and so calmly just a little earlier. I felt hollow. I told her in my heart that she didn't need to say anything more.
見せてあげましょうか。
Reaching over her bag, you began to remove the Garo Froggies that were fastened there.
ちょっと待ってくださいね。
Her hand was shaking minutely, perhaps because she was in such a hurry. She had trouble taking the straps off.
変だな。どうして外れないんでしょう。絡まっちゃってるのかな。
Wait a minute, maybe it's not her bag. When you tried to forcibly pull the straps away, her bag fell off the bench because the fasteners weren't closed. Notebooks and textbooks came tumbling from the side.
私ったら何をやってるんでしょう。
If it were several minutes earlier, I might have mowed over her Yui's clumsy side, but now all I could do was freeze in place because a single notebook had by chance opened up as it hit the ground. From within its poor memos and newspaper clippings and the like, it seemed to be some kind of scrapbook. Memos and clippings, everything in it had to do with a certain series of incidents. I saw it clearly. Again. Uh-oh. My voice was hoarse. You feverishly gathered the scattered memos and clippings and shoved them back in her bag. Yua rose, hugging her back to her chest. Her smile from before had completely vanished, and she hung her head uncomfortably.
それは
Yua didn't answer. Why won't you answer? Answer me. Say something to me. If you don't say anything, won't I start thinking you must be feeling guilty? Even though I started to believe in you, even though I started to think that maybe you would be my ally.
誰も信じちゃダメ。誰の言葉にも耳を傾けちゃダメ。
Sierra had been right after all. 3D girls were the worst, each and every one of them. Even Yua had felt kindly toward me or anything. Even Yua hadn't felt kindly toward me or anything. She had only approached me with some goal in mind. Perhaps she meant to hand me over to the police. Perhaps she meant to threaten me. This sucks. This fucking sucks. Even though I started to forget all about the incident. Even though since the police hadn't shown any signs of coming to talk to me about it, I made myself think I would get by without having anything to do with it. Even though I hadn't wanted to get wrapped up into it. What the hell did Yua want from me? In any case, I turned on my heel, wanting to flee. But Yua grabbed my wrist behind me. Her voice made my blood run cold. Voice so chilly that my spine seemed about to freeze. I could hardly think of her as being the same Yua as before. Top of that, Yua's grip on my wrist was abnormally powerful. She gripped so tight that pain shot through me, such a violent pain that it was enough to make me wonder if she would clench me to bits, all the way down to my bones. I tried to shake her off, but she wouldn't let go. On the contrary, she pulled me close and made me pitch backwards.
逃げる。
She wristed her from behind me, more so than that right beside my ear, sounding as though all emotion had died in her. Shuddering, I timidly turned around. Oh, yeah. Color reciting in the depths of her glare eyes wasn't
逃がさないよ
sane.
騙してたことは謝るけど、お互い様だし。あなただって隠してたことあるよね。
I could only come up with one thing. Somehow, someway, this girl knew I'd witnessed the corpse and the perpetrator of staking murder, and that was why she had approached me. She was ingenious, after all. This had meant every single thing she told me had been a lie. The fact that she had been concerned about me since the first time she saw me, and the fact that she said that she liked Barachu, and the fact that she promised to go together with me to pick up post-awakening Sierra figure on that day it was released. It was a fact that she smiled and nodded as though she were having a fun listening to what I'm telling her, and the fact that she said she wanted to become better friends with me, and the fact that she'd gotten worried about me when I didn't come to school, and the fact that she had been nice enough to call me admirable. Just checking something. Oh, yeah. All of it had just been her saying whatever came to the top of her head. I clenched my fists in frustration and grief. Fuck. Why did I try so hard to believe in someone like her? Excuse me.
本当はもっと時間をかけて調べたかったんだけど、バレちゃったからしょうがないよね。あなたに聞いてもらいたい話がある。聞いてくれるよね。聞かないなんて言わないよ。あなたは聞くべき。
Damn.
聞いて。
Sure, okay, whatever.
聞くでしょ。
Yes.
聞かないなら。
If I don't listen, what? She was like a different person from the I'd known up to now. Her gentle, calm atmosphere had vanished. Now I sense an unapproachable atmosphere, an indescribable tenacity. Her tone was absolute in its self-possession. No cool-headedness, might be a better way to put it. Her usual frailty was nowhere to be found. No, I don't want to listen. I tried to cover my ears, but I couldn't do it. You had to catch her in one of my hands. She wasn't gripping it as hard as before, but she showed no sign of letting go. She wouldn't let my hand move freely. Still holding on to me, she reached inside her bag and slowly, deliberately pulled out something that shone dully. She held it out to me. Oh god, she found it. Yep, a steak. I was stunned. My heartbeat leapt higher. I couldn't stay calm, but I was so shocked that I lowered my one hand covering my ear. That was when Yua's accusatory voice reached my ears.
見覚えあるよね。
Of course I recognize it. I soon saw it for what it was. It resembled a cross, but it was in truth a stake. Oh, one didn't often see stakes in such a distinctive shape. At the very least, I had only seen them once before. That night strewn across that night the demon girl hammered him. The night that she pinned the body to the wall.
知ってるのね。
Yes.
知ってるんでしょ？
Yeah.
知ってるに決まってる。
Yes. Stop reconfirming everything you're saying.
知らないなんて言わせない。知ってなくちゃおかしい。知ってるよね。知ってるよね。
Shit, dude. I just really shook my head. Greasy sweat stood on my forehead. All I could do was do for the time being, as I wiped it, was shake my head from side to side.
あなたの部屋、ベッドの下、床に落ちてた。落ちてた。落としたよね。それとも捨てた。とにかく落ちてた。落ちてたの。
You bitch. When the hell did she investigate my room? On the day we first met? When I hurt my foot and she helped me up to my room? When she seen my figure of Seroton and her face had been shining and she called it cute?
外国製のすごく珍しい杭なのよ。それとニュージェネ第3の事件で使われた杭と同じ。同じなの。同じよね。同じなのは間違いない。同じよ。遺体を壁に貼り付けにした杭と同じ。
I was positive of it. She suspected me of being the new gen perpetrator. She convinced herself I was the murderer. Did she think she was some kind of detective? The high school girl detective, Kusunoki Yua or something like that? Go die. I mean it. You deserve to die. It might have worked in anime or a game, but Yua's reasoning was fatally mistaken. I knew the killer. I'd seen her with my own eyes, that demon. She was a girl whose name I didn't know, but she had worn the Sume uniform. The culprit was someone very near to me.
だから
Yua lowered her head and let out a small breath. Her grip on my wrist weakened, and at least she finally released me.
それ以下でもないです。ただ、あなたが知ってるかどうかを確かめたかっただけ。本当はまだ言うつもりじゃなかったですし。
What the hell was yet supposed to mean here?
それじゃあ、もう一つ確認させてください。あなたには予知能力がありますか？
I have no idea what you're talking about, girl. You crazy. You crazy.
は
Yeah. I'm thinking then my breath fall open. Prerogative powers? What the heck was that? What did it have to do with with the incident? As I racked my brain, you plunged a hand into her bag and pulled out a piece of paper with a full-color image
予
printed
知
on
能
it.
力があるって思わなきゃ納得できないような画像データをあなたが持っていたから。
The girl picture Shogun had sent me. Why did you have it?
これ
あなたはどうしてニュージェネ第3の事件の再現画像を持っているんですか？しかもこの画像が流出したのは事件の前日です。あなたの使った PC にキャッシュが残ってました。
違う
I got this image from a guy called Shogun, who I chatted with for the first time that day. I didn't make it myself. The fact that I downloaded it should still be recorded in my browser history. Of course I showed that to Yua. But hold on. How had Yua gotten her hands on the image in the first place? How had she known it was left on my computer's cache? The one time she came to my room, she couldn't possibly have had any time to check my PC.
君が将軍か
She was trying to set me up. You had planned it all out. She too was one of the new gen criminals, and she intended to use me as a scapegoat to mislead the police investigation.
助けて
This was too much for me. Why me? Because I was gross? Because I didn't have any friends? You said nothing, only shook her head a
そ
little.
の画像はアットカフェルーム37の PC から拾ったんです。あなたの PC もできれば調べたかったんですけど、その機会はさすがにありませんでした。
Room 37, the room I always use. The bitch totally thought she was some kind of detective. Yua looked at me with a faint trace of apology in her face. I felt that she returned to the usual Yua for a moment. Still wearing that expression, she began fishing around inside her bag again. This time she brought out a printout and pushed it at me. I had a bad feeling about this. My reason warned me that it would be better not to look. I had no choice but to look. I'd be falsely accused if I didn't find some way to resist.
それがあなたのすべてです。
My everything? Could she have stolen all my personal information? Was Yua a hacker? Heart pounding, I unfolded the printout. Contrary to my expectations, though, rather than my personal information, what was printed there looked like it was a backlog of an online chat. The participants in the chat were Nightheart and Shogun. What was so strange about it? It was a normal log. I certainly remember having this kind of conversation with Shogun. No, they don't. They're completely off. Sunday, Monday. What was this? Why did it end up like this? Okay, I think this is a good place to stop. Mysteries abound. We just fell into a trap. I kind of knew it was coming along. And until next time, folks, sayonara.
I am Mass Scientist. It's so cool! Laboman number 004. クレソットーナだ。
ティーナも禁止。あれ？だったら